So at what point during this time, because you're out doing stuff with Uncle Jim and Jerry, at what point did you say, all right, I want to be an Elvis tribute artist. This is what I want to do.
How it really happened is that we were doing the skits and stuff like that. So we thought, that we were doing, then we went into the 50s routine and the 60s and things like that. And so what we did is we decided that we would put Elvis in there. And I had, I said maybe 3 songs, at the most 3 songs, because you had to move along. It was this one and that one, and then it was Elvis, and then I would come out and I'd do the Elvis thing, but I didn't have a suit. I didn't have a suit. So I had some lady, I think it was in Chickasha, Oklahoma, that I found a seamstress, on some hilltop somewhere along the line, Chickasha, Oklahoma, and I said, you think you can make me a jumpsuit? And she goes, well, yeah, I can make you a jumpsuit, and she came in and take measure, all this and other stuff, like that, and it was just plain, She brought that suit, and I had to do a show that night, so we didn't have any time to, she made it too big. She really made it too big, and so what I had to do is I had to take the jumps, I had to wear a pair of blue jeans underneath it to fill it out, stuff like that. And so I did about 2 or 3 songs, and the people loved it. They just, they loved it. And so we kept it. And we kept it in, and we started adding another song and another song in there. So then I started having people make me scarves. And I started giving the scarves out to... We're in Shawnee, Oklahoma. We're playing this club. And, comes time for Love Me Tender, I'm passing out scarves, and so I go to give this a lady a scarf, and our boyfriend in front of you went and put his foot on my hand. I was pissed. So I said, I get out, we get through the show, and afterwards, I go, I'm going to kick that son of a bitch's ass. I'm going to kick it. And calm down. This is not the place to do it. Don't pollute, and everything else like this. Not the place. We'll get him later. So anyway, they had a big bouncer. This guy was huge bouncer, and so I said, he said, don't do it. He says, so I got calmed down, and after the show, I went to the bar. And then this guy comes over, and he says something to me, and I just went off, and I went like this. I swung my hand back, and I went, boom, like that, and everything now is on. It's on. It's a ruckus, And so whole thing's all cleared and everything, and the cops came and arrested the guy, and all this other stuff.
They arrested the guy?
They arrested the guy.
Wow.
Bounce comes over to me, and he's got this dadgum welt on his face like that. And I said, boy, I'm sorry about that. He says, don't worry. He says, I'm not mad at you. I'm mad at that son of a bitch that hit me in the eye. And I thought, oh crap, he was right behind me when I went like this. I go, yeah, me too. I'd be really mad. Jim says, you're the one that hit him in the eye, you dumb bastard.
It was that pitcher's wind-up.
Yeah. Those are just kind of stories that but they're true stories, and there are a lot of fun stories like that on the road, which, as you well know, got to go on the road a little bit. You got some fun stories.
I did. I do.
And, and you meet a lot.
Very little of which I can remember, actually. Because, nowadays it's not that exciting.
No.
It's not. Because there's a lot more... there's a lot more pressure on the artist now. There's a lot more seriousness. Yeah. It's because it's not as free as it once was.
Because you didn't really do the road like we did the road. When you actually went on...
Well, you guys didn't really have... When you guys went on the road, and I guess this is what I was...
We're trying to get there. Yeah, we're trying to get there.
When you guys were on the road, you guys didn't have to answer to anybody. You guys were your own managers.
We were.
You guys were in charge of the whole...
Oh, we had managers.
But we also did all the work.
You guys did have managers? You guys weren't your own thing?
We had booking agents.
We had agents.
And agents. But you didn't have a manager on the road with you that said,
we did not.
You guys can't do this, or you guys shouldn't be doing this, or you guys need to talk to the label, and you guys,
No, but we also had to do all the work.
Right.
We had our own
pay
label.
for everything.
Mm-hmm.
Well, you had roadies, you had people that,
I did.
That's a totally different thing than when we were playing in, dive bars and stuff. You were playing for large crowds, and that was that's a different thing.
Right.
So there was more pressure on you.
I know.
So you didn't get to
play
have
for
as
large
much
crowds.
fun.
I mean, we played to
I didn't mean it
we
that
got to
way.
play to 50 or 60 people at one time.
There were some crowded rooms in that Put in Bay giant hall.
Yeah, there we go. 3,000
Beer Barrel
people,
Saloon.
Man.
I was
We had
there.
3,000 people there.
Let's
I'm sorry, let's go back.
let's kind of fast forward a little
how
bit.
did you? All right, can I ask? You
Go for it.
Let me just.
You know how to handle your husband.
Yeah, because he'll talk for hours and you'll never get to the point that you want. Okay.
So I have a way to go
question
around the
is-
point.
Okay. How did you actually start doing the Elvis, where you're actually doing the shows with the real costumes and the bands and all of that?
Well, I'm glad you asked that question.
I was also trying to get to how you met Mom too.
Oh,
Well, that comes later.
Also.
Yeah.
Okay.
But see, there's a lot of things come up before I mention mine.
How many days do you have to do this?
I mean, I can tell you things.
We have very little time to get a lot done.
Okay.
All right.
So anyway, but basically what it was is that they decided eventually, fast forward a little bit, Jim went his way and then Jerry went his way and so forth and so on. Well, one day they got a phone call and they said that we're going to go to California because they want to put a group together and take it to Hawaii, and the guy is looking for an Elvis show to do that. And so Jim and I and Jerry went to California and we met this guy out there. And so we got to talking this, that, and other thing. And he says, we're not, Jim, I don't think was interested in doing that at the time or whatever. And I said, well, I'll go over, and do this. And he said, well, can you put a group together? I have a group. I want you to meet him and so forth. So I did. I went to, I was in California. I went to see these guys, and we sat down at the kitchen table, and they said, we want you to be our manager. And I go, well, I don't have any really managing experience, but I got road experience and things like that. And we got to talking. Good. So this guy put this group together to go to Hawaii, and we went over there to the Waikiki Resort Hotel, which is still there today. Mm-hmm. And we put a show together on the second floor, and we put this little they did songs, they were more of a rock band kind of thing, but they did a great thing putting the Elvis show together for me. And so I had a couple suits made and stuff like that, and we went over there and we started doing the show on the second floor, and they'd bring in tour buses, and stuff, and we go to get our paycheck. Well, the guy says, well, check's coming from Japan. It'll be here, okay. After about 2 or 3 weeks of this.
Check's coming from Japan.
Yeah.
On a slow boat.
On a slow boat.
Oh, apparently. With a lot of rocks on it.
But you know what? It was a great experience. It was a great experience. I had a lot of fun doing it. And so when we didn't get paid, we closed the show down. And so I went to the general manager. His name was Ira. I went to Ira and I said, well, so I guess I'll go back to the job. He says, I got a place that'll hire you if you want to stay here. I said, okay. Where? And he goes, go down here to Surfco International. And I went down to it, and it was a place to sell cars. So I became a car salesman.
In Hawaii?
In Hawaii. In Waikiki.
So eventually he became an Elvis impersonator. I'm trying to move along here. I'm trying to help you out here, Shane. So
there is a difference between Elvis Impersonator and Elvis Tribute Artist.
You're being very good. I'm being lazy with my terminology.
I say that to people. They go, "What's the difference?"
You're right.
And I tell them, like, "Well, Elvis Impersonator is the dude that you see in L.A. That's like going that very caricature kind of
exactly.
kind of thing about Elvis." And then Elvis Tribute Artist actually takes it seriously and actually performs and sings the songs and has a show and actually pays tribute to the artist. Same thing goes with Michael Jackson tribute artist, any sort of tribute artist, Journey tribute artist.
Yes.
So do you want to get to the heart of the question, son?
Well, I've been trying to, but apparently you being a car salesman is way more important
than our life on the road.
Life on the road.
You'd be surprised how many Toyotas you can sell in an Elvis jumpsuit. Till the police pull you over. But the reason you'll find out, most of your viewers are going to find out that how this all got to be, and this is I was in Hawaii one day. Your Uncle Jim calls me out of the blue. I was sleeping, and I was dreaming that this guy's on stage, and he's got a bunch of people screaming and all this other stuff. And I've had this dream several times, and I'd get right up to the stage to see who was singing, and then I'd wake up just like that. And then one day, I had that same dream, and it was in the afternoon, and I was taking a nap, and got the same thing. The same dream came along, and looked at the stage, and finally found out it was me. And all of a sudden, the phone rings, and I pick it up. It's your Uncle Jim. He's in Little Rock, Arkansas. Yeah, Dennis, what are you doing? Oh, not much, man. What's going on? Well, look, this guy down here needs an Elvis guy, and you're the best Elvis guy I know. So he said he'll fly you to Little Rock, Arkansas, and fly you back. All he wants you to do is come down and audition. Okay? And I said, no, it was kind of scary because my brother, your uncle's in a band called the Flim Flam Band. So, I'm a little leery right at the beginning, you know what I mean? So, and...
it just keeps getting better.
Oh, it's like, I can tell stories forever. But anyway, I said, yeah, I'll come down. And so I went down there, and it was just a bar, but they had dancing in the bands and stuff like that. And we went in the afternoon, and he says, well, what do you want to do? And I go, I don't know. What do you want to do? And I said, why don't we do, something like, I've been traveling over mountains, even through the valleys too. And he goes, that's enough. I thought, well, hell, I'm back on to Hawaii. I got to play a little pool, see the guys, And he goes, I'll take him. And I never went back. And that's how we put the band together, and I started playing with them, and that's how I became the Elvis. That was in 1974, 75.